I can't see you, Anisha.
Yeah, because you're on full screen, ma'am, you'll not be able to see.
So I can't see your thumbs up.
I'll just say that. Yeah.
Sure.
Yes, we are live. A very warm welcome to each one of you. In our endeavor to organize very meaningful sessions for all of you as a part of Yoga Week celebration, we are bringing yet another session on holistic living, the naturopathy way. I have the SVP HR and COPCOM, Deepa Chadda, with us, and Dr. Anjali Sharma, who is our speaker for today. I will now invite Deepa to welcome Dr. Sharma.
Good afternoon, everyone. And this is like the third day in a row. So we've had series of these sessions. We had Dr. Riti Barua address us on stress management just day before. Yesterday we have Aruna Arumugum also talk about emotional well-being. And today it's a great pleasure and honor to have Dr. Anjali Sharma talk about naturopathy. So this is like a run-up to the International Yoga Day celebration under the aegis of our Vistara Care program. So my absolute privilege and honor to introduce Dr. Anjali Sharma, who has a collective experience of over 19 years in the field of naturopathy. She has been associated with the reputed Action Group of Hospitals since 2011, along with operating her own clinic named Shuddhi Naturopathy Clinic. Additionally, she's a visiting consultant at Max Healthcare, Pitampura and Natural Heals, Gurgaon. She holds undergraduate and postgraduate degrees in naturopathy and yoga sciences from STM College, Karnataka, and applied psychology from Annamalai University, Tamil Nadu. She has also done her fellowship in clinical research from Medversity Online Limited, Apollo Hospitals, Hyderabad, and has worked for the Central Council for Research in Yoga and Naturopathy. Her deep passion for the subject and her desire to promulgate the benefits of natural healing encouraged her to write several articles in various newspapers like Hindustan Dainik Jagran, TOI, etc. She has co-authored on books such as Yoga and Naturopathy. So again, my absolute pleasure to introduce and hand it over back to Anisha to invite Dr. Anjali to address us. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Deepa. All of you all know Deepa herself is an enthusiast in fitness and yoga. So I'm sure her dedication is seen. She's been able to welcome all our guest speakers despite her busy schedule. Thank you, Deepa, for that. One more reminder to each one of you, if you're facing some problems or your friends are facing problems in attending this session, please get in touch with the IT team or try logging in from your phone. And without any further ado, I will invite Dr. Anjali to start the session.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Deepa, for a nice introduction, and thank you, Anisha. So let's start going. So first of all, yes, of course, like Deepa told you, I am Dr. Anjali Sharma, working in Delhi, Dwarka. Just a brief thing, like, of course, whatever we'll try and understand and gather today, apart from that, you can read a few more details on my website. I also have a YouTube channel with lots of videos pertaining to naturopathy in different aspects. And of course, I have a Facebook page also, right? So, coming straight to what we are talking of today. Okay, so we all have been hearing of staying healthy, living healthy, a healthy lifestyle, and all those different words. So, how do we approach it in a very holistic way? Right? It's easy to hear, it's easy to read, but what are we supposed to do? So, let me try and take you through a very basic of how our lifestyle should be. Okay, so when we are talking of a healthy lifestyle, it's of course the human body, right? So what is this human body exactly? Okay, so we all have heard of the cells and the organs and the bones and the muscles. We have nerve tissues. You have all the stomach, the livers. You have heard of all of that. Okay, But talking of naturopathy, talking of holistic, talking of yoga, we have a very different way of looking at the human body. Okay, so in very, very, very simple way, we don't just take the physical body alone. So we take the body as 5 layers, okay, which we call it the Panchakosha theory. So it's very easy, lots of matter also available on the net. So in very simple way, telling you the very first layer is what we all read and talk about. We've been meeting doctors, doing scans and blood tests and everything all the while, right? So that is only the Annamaya Kosha, which is the most external part of a human being. Okay. So now, in very simple ways, not defying or going against science, but what exactly, who tells our body to get up in the morning? Who tells our body that, yes, we have to walk, we have to run, we are hungry? Of course, there are a lot of nerve signals, but there is a form of energy which flows in a body. Okay, and Chinese medicine, you call it the chi. In yoga, in naturopathy, we call it the prana. Okay, which is the second layer, which comes immediately after the Annamaya layer. The physical body, whatever we eat, whatever the nutrition goes in our body, gives us the life source, the prana, the life, right? Then, of course, see, there are different people, right? Some are very intelligent, some are a little less intelligent, all forms of ways. So, what governs that? What makes us grow mentally, or what makes us grow in terms of knowledge? So, that is the Vijnanamaya Kosha. Okay, so this comes in by reading, this comes in by intellectual interactions, like what we are doing today. So this will only increase that layer, which is called the, if you just take it in the half, that's called the Vigyan. Okay, then comes the Manomaya Kosha. So, like just now Deepa said that yesterday you had a session of emotional well-being. So now we all have started talking of it. That is a great thing. We all have started including it as a part of our life. It is very important. So that is the Manomaya Kosha. It is what we are thinking, what our emotions make us do. Okay, so we are not the same person every day. What changes us emotionally? It could be a part of your body, that's the hormonal changes. It could be that we are not giving enough prana in our body. Like prana, according to us, also comes by breathing, right? So maybe we are not doing enough. Maybe we are getting involved in the wrong things. Like uh, right now, we've also been seeing, from the past 1 year, how media has been misguiding us, and a lot of, awkward forwards and WhatsApp, Facebooks, wrong media promotion. So these are all adding up to your Vijnana, to your mental level, which disturbs your emotional well-being. So once we have conquered all of this, a good body, a good prana, we are thinking good, we are reading good, we are talking to the right people, no negative talks, we keep ourselves as far as possible. See, events do happen to everybody, but as far as possible, we keep this well. Only then we reach the most highest level, which we call the Anandamaya Kosha, right? So, of course, humanly, it's impossible to be in the complete Anandamaya zone, but as far as possible, we should try to reach there. These are like those levels, you're trying to reach the top. Everybody who starts working, we definitely want to be the CEO or the director of a company. So, similarly, we have a body, we are aware of it, so we want to move there. So let's understand now how these levels do work, right? So we have seen universally everything goes in a rhythm. Like nature never changes its rhythm. It has a summer season, it has a winter season, you have mornings, you have nights. So unfortunately, only humans, break these rhythms. We don't go according to it. In summers, we switch on the air conditions, we make it cold and bring it to winters. In winters, we switch on the heaters and we bring it to summers. So only humans meddle, to be very honest. Animals and all of them, they have their own ways and they go by what the nature has given. So one of those rhythms which compulsorily, whatever you do, the body will follow is the circadian rhythm. Okay, it's the body's clock. The body runs in a clock. Like your watch, it will never stop, so your body never stops. Okay, so it's running constantly, and the very easy way to understand is it runs along with the sun. Okay, so as the sun raises, the body's functions, the body's all the functions, the mental levels, the activity in mental activity, everything is at the top. As the sun goes down, we start becoming low, like going low. So uh, it's that's what the whole world is following, and that's what we should follow ideally. Yes, but yes, of course, we have different work timings. But that's why if you see, almost everything starts at 9 and ends by 6 or 8 or that way. So the markets, the everything, but majorly. So to understand, to even understand what naturopathy or what we are trying to understand holistically is all your functions, including your sleep, okay, including your waking up time, your hunger, and your hormones. Why hormones? They also run only by this rhythm. So that is one of the reasons why blood tests are done only in the mornings. Okay, because your morning is the peak of all your hormone levels. When you test them in the mornings, they will be at their peak. Okay, so sometimes that's why we also do a cross testing. We make them do a test after 12:30 to check when the peak of the rhythm is down, how your body reacts. Okay, so when I say hunger, I also mean that the digestion. Okay, this is very important. We'll be talking in a few more slides. So the hunger, the digestion also goes according to the sunlight. So very easy to understand. If you want to understand what routine you have to follow the sunlight. So eat according to the sunlight. When the sunlight is at its peak, is the best times when your digestion, your metabolism, everything is perfect. So eat your maximum till the sun is at the top. As the sun starts going down, start reducing what you're eating. Make a lighter food. So whatever heavy you want to eat, okay, has to be eaten best if you want it to be metabolized, absorbed very well, digested very well in your body in the first half of the day. Okay, so that itself, if you just start following this routine itself, more or less takes you towards a healthy heart. It keeps your weight in control because if you metabolize well, you don't store unnecessary fat in your body. And with all these things, of course, you have a very high immunity. You have very healthy hormone levels. You have excellent digestion, no digestion issues, and your brain will work very actively. Okay, so of course, you need to do a lot more things to do that, but this is one of the things to start with. Okay, so this is what we call, and we've been calling from ancient times, is your dinacharya. Okay, what is your timetable? When the whole world works in a timetable, the nature's every being in the nature works in a timetable. So even we should be working in a timetable. Okay, I'm not talking of the job work thing, but when it comes to eating, exercising, of course. So this circadian rhythm decides your dincharya, decides when to eat. So the first very question when you want to understand how to be healthy is this. So part of it I've cleared. Eat the heaviest foods, okay, the highest of proteins, the most, to be very easy to understand, is the most difficult foods which we think are difficult to digest should be eaten and done with by lunch. After lunch, you should start taking easier foods, simpler foods, raw foods, juices, and all those things. Similarly, when to exercise. So, if you exercise in the morning, of course, it's quite effortless. One. Second, already you're in a very high energy state. So, you can exercise a lot more and do a lot more with your exercise goals. So when you think of completing your 10,000 steps, the morning is the best time, right? Or your, say, whatever, your aerobics or whatever are your goals, right? So wake up and sleep. So these are two things, of course. Like we also know that we are all now working in very different work schedules, because we global and your aviation industry especially has a lot of difficulty when it comes to work schedules. But what we can make it easy to understand, just understand the body needs to sleep in environment which is like a night. So at least for that reason, you can make it simple that suppose there are people who have night shifts, when they go back in the day and try to sleep, what they can do is create a night kind of an environment to sleep, right? So definitely, it's quite simple. Even if you have a different work schedule, it's still simple, just to understand that whatever heavy you want to eat, you will eat in the morning. Suppose you have to stay awake in the night. Okay, so try and stick to raw foods, try and stick to easy foods. Like the easiest of Indian food we call is khichdi, or the simpler grains like poha, like idlis. So probably a little more simple, like just simple soups. So eat the heaviest food in your mornings and try to stick to simpler foods when it comes to the nights. Okay, so this is what I'm talking of. So this is the same fold of we use, that's how naturopathy works, or holistic medicine for that matter works. Normally, all, whether it's Ayurveda, homeopathy, we work holistically. So if you say you have an acidity issue, we don't really just cure your acidity issue. We would work on your sleep cycle, we would work on your food, your nutrition, your fiber levels, and what kind of exercise you do, right? And in naturopathy, that is what is different from other things. So we absolutely do not give any medication. Okay, so the cure is completely in your diet. Whatever you eat is what governs your body. And trust me, your food itself has healing properties. Okay, so there are many ingredients in the food which also can help you tackle your body. Before all that itself, your whole body altogether itself has a very strong healing power. Okay, so if you remember in childhood, you would fall and fall and fall and be hurt every day. Okay, not every day we could have bandages, and not except of course when we wanted to bunk school, but or bunk the assembly. I would do that, I would have a bandage to bunk the assembly. Or if I don't have my shoes polished, I would definitely, have a bandage on my foot. But apart from that, if you realize, we would cut ourselves half the times. You can also ask your wives, your moms, your sisters who work at home. So they're injured plenty of times in the kitchen, and half the time we don't bother. So what heals it? We don't always go for a first aid. We don't go for so many things. So what heals it? The body, right? So the body in itself has a healing power, And we in naturopathy try to work on improving that healing power. Okay, so we try to enhance and give the body what it needs for healing itself. So the first thing that comes in that is, of course, your diet, what you eat completely. And of course, then what is also necessary is what form of exercise you do. Please remember, your body is a machine. Okay, so like we all have bothered, like during lockdowns, we go and start our car engines, that the car has to keep moving. The engine has to remain healthy, functioning. So similarly, our body is a machine. Our joints are have to be moved. Your house doors also, if you don't open and close them, your windows, if you don't open and close them, they get hardened, they stop moving, right? They start screeching. So it's very important to exercise. Okay. So now naturopathy also has, let's go a little on naturopathy. So naturopathy has a lot of ways to use what nature has given in terms of treatment. So we use water. Diet, of course, is our major modality. Then we use water, we use mud, we use magnets, we use majorly the sunlight. Okay, so these are many ways of giving treatments. Okay, so now, like we were talking of the Manomaya Kosha, so it's very important to give your body a positive reinforcement time and again. We need it. We need positive inputs again and again and again. Okay, so we learn how to we enhance that. And last but not the least, we need a very good sleep. If you sleep well, you are absolutely healthy human being. Okay, so these are a few aspects. Let's start doing or thinking of them one by one. So let's start with diet. Diet has been very confusing, to be very honest. There have been so many inputs. You can just Google, and half the time Google can make a diet chart for you. So there are so many apps, there are so many things. So it's very confusing. How do you, what is the right diet? What do you really have to do in your diet? uh, our parents do tell us something, our grannies do tell us something. Then you have the modern times, they say so many things. So what do we do? But do remember, our food almost has everything that we need. Okay, we don't actually need an external source for anything. That, by external source, I mean by supplements or by fortified foods. So we really don't need all that. Okay, so what do we really need? For a day to day healthy function, we need vitamins. Okay, we all have been hearing this. Unfortunately, we started bothering more about it when we started doing blood tests. So, every blood test nowadays has vitamin D levels, vitamin B12 levels. So, you know, so the very simple thing to understand is, the more fresh your food is, the more vitamins it has. Okay, so the more it is close to nature, okay, the more of vitamins it would have. The vital ingredients of your food are best when they are most close to nature. Okay, so most close to nature, what I mean is fruits, vegetables give you the maximum vitamins when they are raw. Okay, so that's the nature's form. Okay, sometimes if you would say, then maybe probably even cutting somewhere or the other disturbs it. But of course, we can't really do all that. So anyway, so then comes the lubrication. Yeah, so this is something which we all have been hearing. We've been hearing omega-3 fatty acids. It's a very common term, omega-6 fatty acids. Okay, especially the cooking oil industry started using these words. But in any case, uh, the very easiest way to understand is, all our food has certain amount of fat, oils, to be in the layman word, maybe the oils, the grease. Okay, and this is very important for your joints, please remember that. So sometimes, coming to the modern societies, we have come to those thoughts of let's not eat ghee, eat zero oil cooking, and all that. But please remember, we do need some basic amount. We don't have to overdo it, okay? But we need some basic amount. So, in a very simple understanding, uh, an adult needs at least 750 ml of oils or ghee or butter, not butter maybe, but oils and ghees or any other forms of fats, at least 750 ml in the whole month. Okay, so that could be your easy calculation of trying to understand if you're a 4 adult member family, how much oil do you get in your house monthly. Try not to exceed that. That should include the ghee also in it. Okay, the third most important thing is fibers and antioxidants. Yet again, like we were talking of vitamins, fiber and antioxidants again comes from foods which are best eaten raw. Okay, because fibers break invariably in heat. So whatever you take raw is maximum in fiber. Whatever you take raw are maximum in antioxidants. Except, of course, we have certain sources like we have haldi, ginger, which can be cooked also. Their antioxidant properties do not get lost. Okay. Of course, proteins. Proteins is very important. If we need to understand, proteins are like our home maintenance and car maintenance people, right? So they repair our bodies a lot. We need them to repair our body. We need to repair day-to-day injuries. Some injuries we don't even realize. So there are injuries we give to our eyes, okay, because of the screen time. There are injuries we are giving to our muscles because of sitting longer, so especially the lower body muscles. Okay, sometimes we are lifting things in the wrong way, so we are injuring somewhere or the other to, small injuries we are giving to our muscles which we don't even realize. Our joints, even they are getting injured in many ways. Our wrong postures, the wrong ways of getting up, sudden getting up, when you sit and get up or you suddenly sit, so many injuries. Okay, so these are like maintenance personals we need for our body. So proteins are very, very, very important. Don't overdo them. That's really harmful, okay, because it will start giving pressure to your kidneys, etc. So um, unfortunately, a kind of drawback which has been seen with keto diets. Okay, so you have to be very careful of how much proteins you're taking, or else it will start harming your kidneys. Right? Water. So that is one very big question, right? So we need water, right? Water is a source of mobilizing the vitamins, the nutrients, minerals in our body. It's like the courier boy, the Amazon delivery boys. So they water has to keep moving around the body to deliver vitamins, also to pick up the garbage from every cell and send it to the kidney or the intestine or all those. So the water is very important. Only if the water keeps flowing well in your body is when your body will be clean, right? Also, it takes care of balancing the heat. So if it is too cold, it will balance that. If it is too hot, it will balance it, right? So it's very important, right? So usually it's a good thing if you can drink 3 liters. Okay, so sometimes we are asked that by many people that they are not in the habit of drinking water. So maybe they've been just drinking 1 liter all their life. So how can they suddenly start drinking 3 liters? So let's start with a simple exercise. What we can do is every hour, so 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever, every hour, just remember to drink at least 1 glass of water, right? So ideally, we are awake for 12 to 14 hours, and that means we would easily complete 2 liters. Okay, so let's start working with that and try and reach 3 liters. Is always the 4, 5 glasses extra that we have taken. So trust me, it's not that difficult. we can reach there. Let's start working on it slowly. So the best thing is the whole office is listening. So tomorrow onwards, all you colleagues can take a 2 minute water break after every hour. Yeah, I know I'm giving too many breaks now, but still, okay. Uh, so then we come. That's the diet part. Of course, if you have some more doubts and all that, then you can always ask me a few more things in the end. So talking of the exercise, okay. Um, we all know you all have been learning yoga all these days. You have your in-house yoga person. So just to understand what exercises are best, okay? So people get very confused. They're going to gyms, doing a lot of things, weights, and hamesha that question, what to do, what not to do. So exercise, to be very precise, for your body, to keep it mobilized, to keep your heart healthy, which really needs a lot of pumping, is simple cardiovascular exercises. Okay, so the most easiest, most simplest thing is walk. And trust me, walk is just not a cardiovascular exercise. It helps a lot in calming down your mind. Those 45 minutes, unfortunately or fortunately, you will not be able to get on your screen. You will not be able to read your emails. You will not be able to read your WhatsApp chats. So that 45 minutes is a complete break from all that. It also helps you talk to yourself, because when you're walking, you can't talk to your neighbor. You're all alone. So you get to contemplate, you get to talk to yourself, you get to plan. You can also plan your presentations and a lot of things while you're walking. You can do a lot of things, strategies while you're walking. So uh, try and start using your walks for the best thing. I listen to audiobooks. That's my favorite thing to do. So the moment I want to listen to a new book, I'm craving for the book. I start walking. That's the best thing. So I walk and hear and don't talk. So that's the best thing. And suppose you're walking outdoors, nothing like it. You get to see greenery. It really helps a lot in improving your emotional and mental levels. Okay, so that's the easiest. Second thing is, of course, if you don't have 45 minutes or more to walk, definitely you can just get involved in 30 minutes of cycling, static or dynamic. Both will be fine in that. Okay, yoga, of course, 45 minutes to 1 hour. So it can be either of these or at least two of these. You can always choose. Swimming, whoever has the facilities, a 30-minute swim is as good as all these above. Okay, and suppose you really don't have what do you say? You have a lot of standing works, like for example, the air hostesses, or too much of sitting job, like how you have to sit on screens, or you have a lot of lifting, picking, a very hyperactive kind of work. So you will have to inculcate a few on the go exercises according to your profession. You can contact your the physical trainer. Suppose you have long sitting, so what are the things you can do maybe every 2 hours to avoid back pains and things like that? Or suppose you are have a longer standing, so that's also not good. You can have varicose veins and such issues, like a lot of clots, which we all have been hearing. So these kind of issues, I think you'll have to, personalize on the go kind of exercises which are good for you, tapered to you according to your needs. Yes. So we all have been off late listening of breathing, 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 right? So how to do breathing? Not all of us can sit down and have all the time in the world to sit and do pranayam and all those things. So the first very simple thing you can do anywhere, you can do it in your office chair, you can do it in your washroom breaks, anytime, is deep, simple, deep breathing, right? So I'm sure you all have been taught of that. So simple deep breathing, at least 10 to 20 breaths each time. So it's also a good way to break between your time. So right then and there, just sit Close your eyes and just do say 10 or 20 deep breaths every 2 hours, probably. It'll keep you fresh, it'll keep your mind relaxed, and it will also help you in thinking in a better way. Okay. So pranayam, yes, you all have been learning as far as possible, whatever is possible, especially the balancing pranayama, but please do it under guidance. Yes. So we all know of those. They're very, very easy relaxation techniques. These really help, and especially the best time to do them is just before you're going to sleep. That's one of the best times you can try and learn. Very easy techniques are there, 5 minutes and 10 minutes relaxation techniques also, but these also are very important. Okay, there are techniques called yoga nidra for the well practitioners. Yes, you can learn them. Right, so dhyan, right, meditation. Everybody in the world talks about meditation. What exactly is meditation? Actually speaking, in terms of yoga, meditation is complete silence of thoughts. Okay, which unfortunately, of course, we cannot do it. Right. So we actually do a level before meditation, which we call dharana. Okay, which is guided, to tame your thoughts, to control your thoughts, to give a guidance to your thoughts. That we can do in many ways. So we all have our own ways of calming our minds and thoughts down. Okay, guided could also be through your instructor. You can have a recorded message from her, or a voice message from your instructors for a 5 to 10 minutes guidance on how and what to be done. There are many available online also. Okay, or in very simple ways, if you think you can do it yourself, and just focus on a very mild music, which is instrumental, of course, uh, which does not give you words to again give way to your thoughts, right? So, music, any mantra, like simple mantras, like maybe just a simple Om chanting or a simple Gayatri mantra chanting or whatever you like in that, right? Reading in itself is, of course, a meditation. Okay, depends on what you're reading, right? Not, of course, the novels or things like that, but a positive book, a good book in itself is a form of meditation. Reading is also good just before you're sleeping, okay, because it cuts you off from what you have been doing the whole day, what you've been thinking the whole day, and brings you straight, it diverts you towards what you're reading. And if it's a positive book, if it has good thoughts and uh, it encourages you to do things, nothing like inspirational reading is the best form of meditation and relaxation that you can do. Okay, there's a thing called sanskar. We all have been hearing, but it's not the sanskar we say, but हमने कई बार सुना है ना, अच्छे संस्कार नहीं है and all that. But definitely sanskar in very simple words means the good thoughts, the good ways of uh, living and guiding. Okay, that again comes from good reading, inspirational reading, etc. So of course, good gurus, good mentors, all that. So moving from there is what again we call the positive reinforcement, right? So to see, whenever we do good work, we expect a good raise, we expect a good appreciation from our managers. So that is what we call a reinforcement, right? So when the day, suppose you are doing good, everything is perfect, but you are still being ridiculed for what you're doing. So that's called a negative reinforcement, okay? Uh, which comes from outside, which people give you. Okay, so whatever you do, your wives or whatever you do, your husbands are not happy with you. Teenage kids never happy with what their parents are doing for them. So these are all negative and signals that we get over the day. We keep getting them. Traffic jams, police wale ne rok liya. There's so many things. They give you a lot of negative feelings. So how do we convert it to positive? Why we call it reinforcement? Because there's so many forces giving in all those negative inputs. So we have to positively reinforce them. We have to change it to positivity, right? So the external sources we all know. I hope we are all trying to take guidances from them. So majorly what everybody uses, understands is gurus, but I would also categorize it like for a person from like me. I read, okay, maybe even if it's the Bhagavad Gita, I have read it like 20, 30 times. Whenever I feel lost in life, in career, whenever I think I need to bring back myself, you know. So I definitely read the Gita. It's not for religious ways, but the guidance is excellent. So Gita, by the way, has been now been used for management skills too. Chanakya Niti also is an excellent thing to read. But anyway, so I'm trying to be a guru now. Sorry. Okay. So gurus, yes. Mentors, yes. The guides we have, we all have our own guides. We all have our own set of guides. So they could be our friends, best friends. They could be our family members. They could be our counselors. A professional counseling also can be taken. So there's no harm, of course. Okay. And but what we can do internally. So sometimes we don't want to go to gurus. Some things we cannot discuss with family members. We cannot discuss certain things with friends, or sometimes they're just not available. Uh, you can't run to a counselor for everything. Okay, but we can start inculcating this habit of moving inwards for a positive reinforcement. Okay, talking to yourself might seem very insane, might seem very bad, but trust me, you can try and do this. End of the day, just sit alone anywhere you can sit alone. Okay, and close your eyes because you don't want the visual signals to reach you. Close your eyes and just let whatever is coming on your head come to you. Okay, that time there's nobody who's judging you, so it's actually the best thing. You're the best person to guide yourself. So let everything come. Okay, everything. So whether it's frustration between family, whether it's frustration with finances, whatever, right? Whether it would have been that, like say today's presentation, I will probably go back in the evening and think what I could have told better. Whatever that thing is, first let it run and run and let the thoughts flow. Okay, that's a form of meditation that we call. So let the thoughts flow, let them all come to you, let everything come to you, and then you talk to yourself. Yes, you did good. This is what I can do better. I can move forward this way. Yes, I've been doing bad with my finances, but this is what I can do to myself. Or if it's your colleagues, your work environment, whatever the thing is, it's very simple. Suppose the traffic irritates you, so you can just decide to start moving in a public transport. So talk to yourself. Certain irritations, certain small things, issues that trouble you, you can talk to yourself and find a solution in yourself. The best thing is give 10 to 15 minutes, 5 minutes for thought flowing, say 5 to 10 minutes. Give yourself positive affirmations. I can solve my problem. My finances will start, I will start working good on managing my finances from tomorrow, or maybe today, or from this month. So give yourself some positive affirmations. Okay, move on to simple deep breathing for another 10 deep breathing, which takes hardly 2 to 3 minutes to confirm it. Again, put on some light music, okay, to give all your positive affirmations a good stamp. If not a meditation, put on some nice music, take a mantra, but put a stamp to the positive thing that you are trying to enforce into yourself, right? This is, trust me, the most important part. I think we can all start doing it today, end of the day. It really works beautifully. Sometimes you're the only person who can solve your own issues because it's all between you, right? So please try and start making yourself your own mentor, your own guru. Okay? And it's a wonderful thing, trust me. Okay? We are also talking of sleep. We all talk of sleep. We talk of good sleep. Uh, you know, Definitely it's the best thing if your mind is relaxed, if your mind is healthy, your body is healthy, and vice versa. So if you have a healthy body, you will have a healthy mind. Okay, so the a few very simple things that we can do: avoid caffeine in the evenings, or suppose you work in the day, avoid caffeine at least 4 hours before the time that you are planning to sleep. Okay, at least 1 to 2 hours before you sleep. I know this is absolutely not being done nowadays, but please try and do it. Start with 15 minutes, then 30 minutes, and slowly move to 1 to 2 hours. Stop your screen time, including your television, including your WhatsApp, including your Facebook, YouTube, everything. YouTube you can use maximum for meditations and relaxations, right? So let's try and stop the visual stimulation that we keep giving our body time and again. Okay, we can avoid a lot of naps at the wrong timings. Okay, another thing that we can avoid is, suppose I plan to sleep at 10 p.m. So 8:30 के बाद please try and not have very serious discussions, very serious decisions that you have to take for the day or for your work or for your family, which of course somewhere or the other leads to arguments. So let's try and avoid all of that in the evening. The maximum thing that you do is, which works beautifully, is yes, sit down with the paper and organize yourself. Like what you're going to do the first thing in the morning, second thing, the first thing is probably send a report, second thing is talk to a colleague regarding the report, etc., 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 so that you sleep peacefully, you don't keep thinking that. Try and eat early, don't sleep immediately after eating. Okay, and definitely 10 to 15 minutes of relaxation techniques will help you a lot. Okay, so definitely, I'm sure there are a lot of questions and answers, but there are a few which are very common, which we have been getting, and people have been time and again asking me. Let's talk of those. Since we are talking of how to live healthy, okay? So one of the major things that runs in every family in India is, ये हमें नहीं खाना है, ये खाना बहुत गर्म करता है. ओके, तो ये सर्दियों में खाएंगे, ये गर्मियों में खाएंगे, ये खाना ठंडा होता है, मैं रात को नहीं लूंगा, and so on and so forth. There's so many myths, there's so many things that we have, but a simple understanding: things that we call garam are things that are difficult to digest and metabolize in the body. So, like I said, the first slide, we were talking of circadian rhythm. So, whatever is difficult, whatever we call garam, whatever is gets a lot of heat into our body, is garam. So, we will be doing this in the first half of the day. Okay, whatever that takes a lot of metabolic energy, so it will not cause you garam. And whatever is that garam ingredient can be taken individually, don't mix it with other food. Okay, similar mistake that we do is, एक इंडियन थाली, सब्जी भी है, दाल भी है, सलाद भी है, मीठा भी है, सब कुछ है. Okay, that's a pure Indian thali. So which is definitely not what your stomach intestine want. Okay, please understand that body has one a juice or a acid different for every food group to digest. So the more you eat them individually, the more the body will be able to digest, body will not be confused, there will be less of junk and fat, because you might think that you eat good healthy food, home food, and fresh home thali, but why your body still has high cholesterol, why your body has a lot of fat? So one of the reasons is we start mixing. So the very simple thing, when you eat vegetables, eat only vegetables. When you eat dals, eat only dals. When you eat roti, so please eat only roti, don't eat roti also, rice also. Okay? Food and sweets should not be mixed. You should not eat sweet immediately after eating. It does the craving for sweet is because your body is using a lot of energy to digest. Okay, so that craving you can suffice with a nice curd with a little bit of jaggery or maybe a patla buttermilk chach with nice jeera and everything, which only will enhance the digestion. Try and avoid taking sweets. Mixing of foods, same thing that I said, don't fill your plate with it. When you're eating salads, please eat only salads. Eat food only after half an hour of eating a salad. Okay? When you eat a fruit, please eat only a fruit. Food, cooked food and raw food again should not be mixed. Let's not do those mixings. Okay? One, unfortunately, not a great Indian tradition is drinking milk in the night. Okay, milk again is animal protein. Okay, difficult to digest, should not be taken in the night because the whole night the stomach and intestine will be very, very disturbed trying to digest the milk. Okay, again, one myth which unfortunately all vegetarians have is that we don't get enough proteins, is that we don't get enough of vitamin B12, but which is not a fact. So, nature has given us a lot of dals, nature has given us full grains, dry fruits, nuts, okay, which gives us all these things that we need. So, uh, in fact, animal proteins are most difficult to digest in our foods. Okay, for our human bodies, our bodies are not made for the animal proteins, unfortunately. Okay, or else we would have had those canine teeth. You know, we would have been totally different people. Trust me. So, of course, our ancient people lived on raw meat, but their body structure was different, their work was different, their statures were different. So we have evolved, and this evolved body cannot very easily digest animal proteins. Okay, great. So why holistic plans? Why not the modern diets? Uh, just a very simple thing. Any diet plan or the dietitian diets or anything else of that sort only focuses on one thing. They only focus on calories, reducing of calories and fat in the body. But when we plan our food, our diet according to a holistic living plan, then we take care of the nutrition, we take care of the vitamins, we take care of all the nutrients, health, antioxidants, fibers, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so that's it. And please, of course, there are a lot of people in the market who also claim to be naturopaths. So please do remember to check to go to a qualified physician, naturopathy physician, or Ayurveda physician. There have been a lot of controversies which have been of late coming in with its Dr. Swami Ramdev or that I don't know what's her name. So Sadhvi is talking of Gomutra and so on and so forth. So please understand, going to a qualified physician, naturopathy physician, or Ayurveda physician to get a personalized program made. Everybody is different. There cannot be WhatsApp messages or anything that can be universal. Okay, right? So yeah, thank you. Thank you, and please live healthy. From at least a few changes, I hope you would have got.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Anjali. That was really indeed a very, very insightful session for each one of us. I think we've been hearing of what to do's, what should we do? But today's session that you've taken has actually given us an insight into how to do things and why to do certain things, which has answered a lot of questions that at least I had. For example,
Okay.
have three liters of water. Okay, why should I have 3 liters of water, or why should I follow the sun, as you said? So
Correct.
I have really enjoyed your session. Thank you so much, ma'am. As we had actually asked our employees to share some questions with us for you, ma'am. So I
Okay.
will put those questions, one of which you've actually taken up already in your session. The question was how effortlessly one can live holistically through
Right.
naturopathy. So your
Yeah.
session has in detail covered that. I will move on to the next question. It's a common question. I'm sure you must be receiving this question from others also. Uh, the employee wants to know what is the difference between a naturopathy medicine and conventional medicines.
Yeah, so like I've been talking of, so naturopathy particularly does not use any form of chemical medicines or any form of synthetic supplements or even synthetic food. Okay, so we use completely, basically, your kitchen is your doctor, your medicine, your everything, and whatever nature has given, like I was telling. So, water, magnets, earth, the mud, the sunlight, all that nature has given, the exercise, yoga, we only use those for healing and treating all sorts of disorders.
Great. Thank you, ma'am. I'll move on to the next question. So it's time, I think it's time we move to our kitchens rather than going to the chemist shops, right?
Correct.
Okay. The next question is with regards to the current COVID times, how can naturopathy help in COVID times?
See, naturopathy has definitely helped a lot. Okay, one, of course, a lot of people have been cured. I myself have been cured with naturopathy only in COVID. Uh, why naturopathy or how naturopathy? See, just not, let's not just talk of COVID. Any viral infection, any infection that comes in our body has a toll on your vitamins, has a toll on your energy levels, on your water levels, on your electrolyte imbalances, mineral imbalances. See, only these imbalances lead to all the issues. For example, body pains. For example, the clot formations. Yeah, so we have been only talking of clot ho jata hai, heart attack ho jata hai. We only have been talking of all that, right? But it does happen because once there's a virus, it's like a war. Okay, and you have lots of cells fighting, so there are a lot of dead bodies. Who will remove those dead bodies so that the new army can come and take place of it, right? So a lot of removing of these dead bodies, so there are fresh army which will fight, and we enhance that with haldi, ginger, and all these ingredients that we have in our food, right? So now it has been proven, and time and again it has been proven, for any viral infections there are no medicines. Okay, so yet again, now the latest notification is, please don't give anything else except the antipyretic. So what do? So nature has given you almost everything. See, the viruses have been changing day in and day out. They'll be changing. They will keep changing. But nature has given you antiviral, antibiotic. It has given you forms of hydrating your body. You have your vitamins. You don't have to eat a zinc tablet. You don't have to eat a vitamin C tablet. You have everything in your food. We just have to start listening to our body. Okay. Of course, see, it will not happen ki all these days you've been eating supplements, you've not been eating healthy, you've not been taking care. So we have to begin with having a good lifestyle. At times of crisis, when you have infections, your body will start responding. हमारे बॉडी में हीलिंग पावर्स हैं, हमें बस उसको एनहांस करना है, उसको सपोर्ट करना है, उसको सबसाइड नहीं करना है with all the medications that we take, because body is already weak, all those antibiotics, antivirals, pata nahi kya 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 kya, and body is already weak. It does not have the energy to face it. It does not have the vitamins. So let the body do its work. That's the best thing to do, and that's what naturopathy we do.
Sure,
Okay.
sure. Thank you. With very quick fixes that we have in these times, just pop in an allopathy pill and you will get
True.
instant results. But as
True.
I understand, naturopathy takes its own time. So is there any
Yes.
time frame or the patience that the person needs to have to be able to see some results?
See, if you are talking of only fixing up a lifestyle, say over a period of 2 to 3 months, you will be very easily able to understand what is good for your body, what is good for your eating. Also, we have some practices like fasting, etc., which also comes over. See, maximum you can set your body into track if you have really gone haywire is 3 months. If you do take basic care and now you will start inculcating all these small things, then 1 month to 2 months your body is in track. Okay. And then your body will respond. Small infections, we don't need antibiotics for everything. We really don't need medication for everything. Let your body show its healing powers, right? So, like for example, your vomiting does not really end with the tablet. It
Correct.
only ends when you're completely flushed it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a very simple example. That's what body is trying to do. Body tries to do. So let's support it. Let's learn to support it. Take a guidance for a month or 2 months from a naturopath, and you'll learn to do it. It's very easy. It's a part of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So with this,
Thank
I would really like to thank you from the bottom of my heart, ma'am. This was indeed a great session for each one of us. I hope everyone at Vistara who joined in for this session had benefited a lot from this session as I have. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. I will now stop the live streaming. Thank you.
Thank you.